They was going to rise up, the Edomites, they was going to build cities, but the Lord said he was going to throw them down. So they built up America, they built up Britain. Really, they didn't build up America or Britain. They had it to where the slave babies built up America and Britain. Okay, they had it to where the Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans built up those different places to the end of what? That they be looking all flashy and prominent, but the Lord said they was going to be brought down to the ground, man. Okay, here it is. You can look at the splendor of America. You can look at the splendor of Britain. You can look at the splendor of all the empires that Esau has built up. And the Most High said they was going to be wiped off the face of the earth, man. Okay? Which is a beautiful thing, because when you check out how these cities were built, they was built off of the back of the Negroes, the hardcore slavery of the Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans. It was built off of blood, man. Okay, here it is. They went out there into the Americas. They conquered the Native American Indians that was living there. Okay, and subjugated them into hardcore slavery, man. Okay, them Native American Indians, they was getting killed by the thousands, man. Okay, then they brought the so-called transatlantic slave trade. They had what was known as the transatlantic slave trade. Brought these so-called Negroes that was out there within Europe. Because the first slave ships weren't coming from Africa, right? They don't tell you about that within the within the history books, right? You find out the first slave ships, they was coming from Spain, man. Okay, I believe the first ship that came across out there into the Americas was the good ship Jesus that came from Spain. Okay, because you had a prominent stronghold of Negro Negroid people of Negroid descent out there within Spain. That's where you get the Moors, okay, and which was prominent during what time? What was known as the Byzantine Empire, and that's a term called backwards, because it's likened unto being backwards to the Edomites, because that was the time when they fell off, man. Okay, you had it to where after the Romans, when they fell off, okay, they went backwards into what? Into hey, what's up?
FaceTime?
No, I'm not on FaceTime.
Oh, what are you doing?
Recording.
That's like cool. Why are you recording?
To teach the Bible. Alright, take care, yeah.
Yeah, see that, man.
Right, so going back onto what I was saying, so they called it the backwards time, okay, the Byzantine Empire, because that was when they was back within the caves, man. Okay, that was when they was back, okay, not doing anything. They weren't prominent, but they came back into what? Into prominence, alright? That deadly wound was healed, like the scripture says, alright, and put the Negro, Hispanic, and Native Americans into hardcore slavery. So there was a lot of blood that was spilt to have these different buildings erected, man. Okay, and so the Most High was going to throw it down, and he said they was never going to rise up and build up again, man. That's how the Lord did it. That's how the Lord set it up. He said they was never going to rise up and build up again. So continuing here within the book of Amos, the 9th chapter, on the 9th and 8th verse, it says, "Behold, the eyes of the Lord God are upon the sinful kingdom." This is that sinful kingdom. "And I will destroy it from off the face of the earth, saving utterly. I will not destroy the house of Jacob." So just like how I was explaining, I said, look, if we're in World War III, okay, what's going to be the solution? Pretty much, okay, if this is a World War III type situation we're living in, or which it is, okay, this is a World War III type situation, right? Who's going to be saved out of it? All right, we're dealing with nuclear power, man, right? The only thing that can top nuclear power is spiritual power. And that's one of the reasons why the Lord said that what? The men of the Lord, the ones that was going to push this word up until the end, he was going to impart upon them spiritual power, because the only way you're going to escape the different arms technologies that Esau has come up with is through spiritual power. Remember, this man was given what? He was given the blessing of the sword, so he's perfected the sword, man. He's perfected death, man. Okay, he's the Tony Stark, if you will, of the earth. They're the Iron Man. All right, they got it to where they got the different technologies out there. They could drop me right down here. They would just off of pressing a button, man. Okay, they could just press the button and that's it. I'm through. Okay, that's the kind of technologies that this man has. To the only thing that could top that was going to be the spiritual power. Just to build up upon that point, the scripture says that what? If it was possible to deceive the very elect, which is another form of spiritual power that we've awoken up onto this truth that was imparted off of us from the Most High, because one of the major weapons that they use is what's known as biological warfare. So they put fluoride within the water. Okay, they put all kind of chemicals within your food to have it to where your pineal gland is calcified and you can't connect, okay, within the spiritual side of things. Because guess what? the earth is a very spiritual place, man. Okay, there's things that happen that are supposed to build your spirit up, man. Okay, that keep you in a very spiritual way. You watch that movie Avatar, that was a very spiritual way of living, and that's how the Most High intended it. But you can't do that if your pineal gland is calcified. More so than that, you can't be getting into the word like how you're supposed to be getting into the word in the scriptures and have a moral standard when your pineal gland is calcified, man. You're just out there living like a beast. So one of the major warfares that they played out was the biological warfare that they played against the people. But guess what? The Most High still had it to where through the Spirit, the men of the Lord rose up. So continuing here within the book of Amos, the 9th chapter and the 9th verse, it says, "For lo, I will command, and I'll sift the house of Israel from among all nations like corn is sifted in the sieve, yet shall not the least grain fall upon the earth." So the Lord said that what? All the scat of the 12 tribes of Israel, just like how you had the Spaniard come up, okay, and how you had all kind of different Jakes that you have out there within the world, they was gonna rise up out of the earth, man. They was gonna be sifted out from the four corners of the earth. Okay, because the Lord's people were scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. So therefore they was going to be sifted out from the four corners of the earth when the salvation was going to come. Okay, during the time of World War III. Read the book of Joel, the 3rd chapter, I believe, or Joel, the 2nd chapter, where it says, during the times when you go to the World War III plan, okay, the Lord was going to sift these people. He was going to plead with the people for Israel, and he was going to deliver his people in the same time, in the same breath. Okay, so continuing here, this is the book of Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter and the 64th verse. It says there, and the Lord shall scatter thee among all people. This is Deuteronomy 28 and 64. The Lord shall scatter thee among all people. Okay, so the 12 tribes of Israel, one of the curses was going to be scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. Now you think about a pack of dogs or a pack of wolves, okay, or a pack of lions, because there is instances where lions come together, all right, brother, like when you have, there was a story about the two brother lions that was, basically they took over a particular region in Africa, some African safari or whatever. So there are instances where lions work together in a pact, okay, and basically those two brothers, okay, no other competitor lions could come up against them, man. Okay, they was going in, all right. But I say that to say this: whenever you have a pack and the pack is split up, okay, and divided, whether it's a pack of wolves, okay, a pack of lions, whatever the situation, whatever the case may be, the strength of that goes down, okay. Even more so than that. Even more so that. You can come back later, yeah. I just gotta finish up, yeah. Yeah.
I'll come back.
We come back here. Give me 2 hours, sweetie. But continuing, pretty much, what you had was a situation where the 12 tribes were split up. Now you can't have a strong power structure, okay, when you're split up, man. More so than that, you can't have a situation where you're feeding your children the right information. Because when you have a family structure and hence a nation, right, that's the best environment you was going to, perpetuate what was our culture, right? Because our culture is about what? Keeping the law, statutes, commandments to the Most High. There's 613 laws, okay? You go to where your son is out there, all right? He's about to do whatever madness he's going to do, but because you're within the nation, that madness gets stopped. It gets rooted out. That's one of the major reasons why the Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans is totally destroyed as a people, because they have no family, and therefore no family, they have no nation. So there is no culture. The whole culture is about being a brute and a beast, okay? The whole culture of the Negro, Hispanic, and Native Americans right now is about being a brute, okay, and a beast, man. Okay, but I say all of that to say this. Going into the curses, one of the major curses was the nation was going to be split up. And that's how we was broken down as a people. But check it out, as the Lord returns, he's going to bring back, you see, bone to his bone, flesh to his flesh to flesh, okay, and then the body was going to be raised up. And the scripture says that what? The words I speak unto you, they are spirit and they are life. So when you go into where this word is going out there, pursuant to the book of John 6 and 63, okay, it's quickening the people, it's making them alive, man. Okay, you're seeing Jake's, okay, straight up Judites getting down with Ephraim, okay, which there was always a friction, all right, going back onto the split that happened underneath King David. There was a friction there. Now the friction is the schism, if you will, is being eroded away by way of what? By way of this truth, man. The scripture says, take one stick for Judah and take another stick, okay, for Ephraim, and join the sticks together. That's where the 12 tribes sign comes into play, because ultimately all of Israel was going to have mercy, man. Okay, both the scat of the 9 tribes that went out there underneath the Assyrian captivity into the Americas, and the 3 tribes that subsequently followed them out there into the Americas, they was going to be joined up, and the Most High was going to have mercy on them, but he was going to have a mercy on the remnant of them, man. Okay, he wasn't going to have mercy on all of them. Okay, he was going to have mercy on the remnant of all the 12 tribes, and he was going to sift them from wherever they was going to be. So Deuteronomy 28:64, it says, then the Lord shall scatter thee from among all people, from one end of the earth even unto the other, and there you shall serve other gods, which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone. So you had it to where the 9 tribes was out there. Okay, now they had a similitude of the customs within the scriptures, but they still had the fringes. Okay, right up until the times of Christopher Columbus, all right, and so forth and so on, right? They had those customs even out there within the west of Africa. You had it to where the Nigerians, the Ghanaians, they circumcise their children, which is a custom of the scriptures, which is a traditional custom of the 12 tribes of Israel. It's not a worldly custom, okay? It's not a custom of the people on the earth. That's a custom going back unto what? Unto the scriptures that was given as part of the covenant between the 12 tribes of Israel. Is a major part of the covenant between the 12 tribes of Israel, okay, and the Most High. Okay, whom the world calls God and Yahweh Shai, right? And Jesus, right? So continuing, you had a similitude of those customs, but they ended up worshiping all kind of craziness, man. Okay, they was into all kind of crazy religions. Okay, but guess what? For the advent of this truth, he's coming back into this word, and the Lord was going to have mercy on the remnant. So it says, and amongst these nations thou shalt find no ease, neither shall the sole of thy foot have rest. So you got it to where even if it was an Israelite living out there amidst the Chinese, if it was an Israelite living out there amidst the Japanese, that guy was still going to catch hell, man. Okay, because why? Because the curses was going to follow us wherever we was going to be within the earth. And that's how it becomes easy to identify who's an Israelite and who's not an Israelite. But more so than that, okay, they say there's a saying within the earth that birds of a feather, okay, flock together. Because you could have a guy like a Bird, okay, what's this guy? I forget his name, okay, Larry Bird, okay, but he could only jive with Magic Johnson and other people of a like mind, okay, because he was living in the same conditions. Although on the outward he looked like an Edomite, I believe he was an Israelite the way he could bowl, okay. But pretty much he got down with people that was of a similar situation because of the what? Because of the curses. The same thing about Bruce Lee and many other Israelite foreigners that are out there within the world. Okay, because you come up in this, come up in the truth, and there's stories that you forget that you grew up with. Okay, stories from back in the day, as they say. Back in the day, they was Jakes that you was living with, okay, or living around with, okay, that grew up on the same estate, that was living the same conditions that you was living in. Mom was working handful of jobs, but they look like Edomites, man. Okay, but you always got down together because why? Because that guy was an Israelite, and you could tell that he was an Israelite because you was in the same situation that he was in, and he was in the same situation that you was in, because you was both Israelites. It's only that on the outward he looked like an Edomite and you look like an Israelite. That's the only difference. Okay, because the scripture says that what? These curses was going to follow us from one end of the earth to the other end of the earth, from the north to the south, and from the east to the west. Wherever we was going to go, the 12 tribes of Israel, wherever they was going to look like, them curses was going to follow us, man. It's continuing here now. It says that neither shall the sole of thy foot have rest, but the Lord shall give thee a trembling in the heart and the failing of eyes and sorrow of mind, which is what? Which when you go into the job market, right, you're gonna be the last hired, okay, and the first fired, okay. When you was gonna be in particular positions where you was always gonna be in a position where it's like things ain't working out right, man. But see, guess what? The Most High is wonderful, because now with the advent of this truth, it's like, okay, it's not working right, but what does it really matter? Because here it is, you could be on the so-called application for a job, get the job, you're the first one fired, but guess what? To what end? Okay, that stuff, that really ain't supposed to be affecting you like that, to be honest with you. Okay, the effect that's supposed to have is supposed to be very small. Okay, because guess what? When all is said and done, okay, when you go to where Esau's economic market crashes, and we're going to get into a little bit of that, when all of these different things play out within the world, you was going to find out that what? You was going to find out, okay, that the Lord was still going to yet choose Israel. That's within the book of Isaiah, the 14th chapter on the 2nd verse. The Lord will still yet choose Israel and set them above all the nations that are upon the face of the earth. Okay, so, hey, we're losers, but we're losers just for now. Because guess what? The Most High said we was going to be winners, man. Okay, and in fact, the Lord, Yahweh Shai, he's already gotten the victory. Okay, he's already got the W. He said, the scripture says that what? That he was the first one, okay, the first one to conquer death, man. Okay, so even in death, we're still winners. Because why? Because Yahweh Shai is the one that conquered death. And when he's going to be risen up and put into a position of rulership, the scripture says that we're joint heirs with Yahweh Shai. So we was going to reign with him too. And when he's reigning terror, because he's going to be, hey, the Lord's going to be tyrannical in his reign. The scripture says that what? Those that perish them shall see him. And when he comes up on the earth, don't you think he's going to take revenge upon that? So he's going to be tyrannical. Right, but guess what? So the men of the Lord, to the end of the scripture says that the Lord was going to make thee into a new threshing instrument, having teeth, and we was going to devour these different nations to the end that we was going to be on top, and they was going to be at the bottom, man. Okay? So now we go back into the book of Revelations, the 13th chapter, and I was going to pull out this article, all right, from a little while ago, and I'll get into this. Right, so just bear with me. So Rome and America. Okay, and I think this should be the article. But this is going back onto what I was dealing with before. Okay, and this is what? This is proof, if you will, that it's the same people, okay, that are ruling, and they're ruling their empire in the same way, okay? So let's see if I can find it. So this one is called 5 similarities between ancient Rome's decline and today's United States, right? And I'm hoping it's gonna just go into it. So it says virtues to key success. Calvert says the Romans were a very religious people. They was into their Roman and Greek mythology, right? It says pious people who believed in honoring their ancestors and traditions. And it says, you okay there, mate? Right, do you believe in the Bible?
No, I'm not interested in that right now. I'm just interested in the names of the 12 tribes of Israel.
Okay, cool.
To refresh it a little bit.
You want to refresh it a little bit? Okay, so you know this is the people, God's chosen people.
Really, I'm not into discussing it. I'm just thank you very much.
Okay, fair enough. Right, so continuing with the article, it says here, so it says, and they will also cherish courage and honesty, right? These virtues sounded particularly like George Washington, who's... Is this going into what I need to go into? No, it's not going into what I need to go into. Let me see this one. Okay, so let me just quickly, hopefully this will do it, because I don't want to stick on it too much, and I'm sure people have done videos on it in the past. This is on Cura. It says both America and ancient Rome began under dominion of a kingdom over a century, right? Overthrew their rulers, then transitioned into republics. Okay, their governments are similar because the USA modeled its government after that of the Roman Republic. All right, though the American Senate does not fulfill the same role as the Roman Senate, their equivalent consuls in Rome in the Roman Republic were like the POTUS, right? Though they were two of them that were equal power, whereas the United States has the president and the vice president. All right, so you're seeing there that, you know, the similarities. It says the Roman Senate elected consuls and consuls appointed senators, whereas American government officials are elected by the people. Interestingly, the Roman Senate operates in the same way as the electronical colleagues does in America. So, I mean, you can go on with that forever and ever and ever. Okay, so that should give you pretty much a good idea. Okay, that, you know, it's the same people. Okay, doing the same thing. Okay, it's Rome. It's the rebirth of Rome. And when you check out what happened in when NATO was set up, okay, NATO was set up underneath what was known as the Treaty of Rome. Okay, that's what they declared it as, because they understood that it was the same people that was coming back. So now going back onto the book of Revelations, the 13th chapter now, and this was I can start back from the top just to give us a refresher of where we left off and continue on down. It says here, Revelation 13:1, and it says, I stood up on the sand of the sea, and I saw the beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns. We touched on that, okay, when the Spanish guy came up, right? So continuing here, it says, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and his 10 crowns upon his head, and the names of blasphemy. It says, and the beast which I saw was likened unto a leopard, this was represented the Greek.